Right, hello then everybody, welcome back to The Golden Sky. Today it is Tuesday the 2nd of September, a new month, and we're back once again with another video. If you're here on YouTube, as always, the housekeeping, like the video, comment away on the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers now, so help me out and drop a subscribe down below. And if you're on the podcast, again, thank you for joining me, and 5-star ratings and reviews, much appreciated as always. So in today's video, it is Tuesday, which means it is Tactical Tuesday, of course. Although the game against Arsenal, which is a game we are going to be looking into today, didn't have all that much going on in the game. It was a pretty dull game, I think we can agree. Obviously, as a Liverpool fan, we're buzzing, but I think overall the game wasn't the most exciting. So whilst there's not lots and lots and lots to analyse, we did manage to pull out some bits that I think are interesting. So hopefully you'll all enjoy that. And we'll look on the board as well at one thing or two at the end of the video. I know it's been a big last couple of days for Liverpool with the transfers, with Isak coming in. Finally, he has arrived as a Liverpool player, so I will mention it. And obviously Gehi, who came, and then his transfer was cancelled, and it was a whole thing. Don't worry, I'm not going to bypass that. I will have videos out on Isak later. It is the international break now, so later this week, perhaps going into next week, I will make some videos specifically on Isak, where we look at how he fits into the team. If that's what people would like to see, please let me know in the comments. But today, it is Tactical Tuesday, so we're going to look at Liverpool's 1-0 victory over Arsenal. I hope you guys enjoy. So let's get straight into it with the first clip or first picture of the game. Alright then, everybody. So this is the first picture that I have of the game. It is early on in the game, and like I said earlier in the intro, this game was interesting. It was quite tense. I think both sides in the first half especially played pretty safe and didn't want to necessarily make a mistake more than they wanted to play with risk. I think the bigger concern for both teams was not to make a mistake. And that led to sort of a bit of a cagey affair. And also, you have to give credit to Arsenal as well, and to Liverpool as well. Obviously, we kept the clean sheet in the end, but Arsenal defended really well and didn't allow Liverpool to suffocate them being at home. They defended really well, and here the first clip is the first example of that. So we see we've got Gakpo down here with the ball, with Timber and Madueke both really, really tight. I mean, Arsenal, like many teams, as we've already said this season, I think we've played 3 games this year so far. Obviously, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Arsenal, and every single one of those has gone man to man. Arsenal did it less so in this game, and Newcastle didn't do it when they had 10 men. But yes, Arsenal did go man to man for a little bit in the first half. We'll look at their shape later on, but you can see Timber and Gakpo touch tight. I mean, he's making a tackle here. Gakpo trying to use the ball. He should just pop it back, but he wants to create something because Liverpool did a lot of safe possession where it's just sort of these type of passes, not really going anywhere. So anyway, Timber wins the ball and it goes back to Kirkez, luckily for Liverpool. Again, it's kind of safe possession, but you see immediately Arsenal's press. They were really, really aggressive with their press and quite relentless too in that first half, not letting Liverpool get anywhere near their own box. Liverpool barely got the ball anywhere around here. They could not get the ball forward. A lot of our play was just in this sort of region of the pitch. We didn't really have any chances in the first half except for one, which I'll show you later. But the point is, Madueke is coming on to Kirkez. Timber, as we know, just won this tackle. Marino, who pressed as a front 2 with Gyökeres, which we'll show later in the shape. He's already pushing onto McAllister, who's getting ready to receive this ball from Kirkez. And so what we see is when McAllister gets the ball, he has to flick it around the corner, and Timber is already, again, super aggressive. Jumps onto the ball, beats Gakpo to it. For some reason, again, this keeps happening in these clips, Van Dijk is just randomly up the pitch. It's because he likes to, at the minute, and he does it really well, but he likes to go, when Liverpool are struggling to get the ball into midfield with passes, he likes to go on these runs where he'll pick the ball up here and he'll basically just run forward with the ball until he gets to about here, and then he might pass it wide, and then he just sort of lingers in this area. I've made a bit of a mess on the screen with the draw in there, but that's kind of what he does. So he's here, and if Gakpo is able to win this ball, he could maybe play this one in here, but he doesn't. Timber gets onto it, and as we see, they break away. Now, here's a prime transition, a prime example of a transition for Arsenal, and Liverpool fell under some criticism for the transitions, especially against Bournemouth in the first game of the season. I pointed out earlier in the season this big giant space that Liverpool have in the middle. However, here, it's actually not as big as what we've seen, which means Gravenberch has taken up a bit of a better space, but again, Timber has bypassed him. Good play from Timber, and he's able to get through. And we see straight away Gyökeres, aka Yok the Builder, Bob the Builder, whatever you want to call him. His strength is running in behind. This is what he is actually good at. He's scored a lot of goals in Sporting Lisbon doing that exact thing. So Timber immediately just wants to give him the ball, and rightly so. And Gyökeres makes the run. Timber advances, and he tries to play the ball through to Gyökeres, but the pass from Timber is not very good. He overhits the ball, and Gyökeres doesn't even have really a chance to get it. But I wanted to just point out the defending of Szoboszlai and Konate, who Szoboszlai not a right back, and Konate been under massive criticism early on in the season here. I just wanted to point out, I think they do a good job here. Just a reaction from, if we just go back to this one, the reaction of where Gyökeres is, he could easily get the run here and get in behind, and maybe doesn't give either of these two players a chance. But already we see here that they've tracked back, sprinted back really well, closed the gap. And when we see here, they've completely sealed it off. Gyökeres has no chance of getting this ball. I just think it's good transition defending from Liverpool. Good effort from these two players. And Konate had a much better game in this one than we've seen so far this season. So, yeah, it's not really anything crazy going on here, but just wanted to point it out because Szoboszlai again was brilliant and Konate had a good game too. So the next one, I mean, immediately Alisson gets the ball, and this is just to point out sort of the lack of quality in the game. Early doors, Alisson picks the ball up, so bad ball from Timber. You can see he's running back to his position here, and Alisson gets the ball and just belts it up the pitch straight to Raya. You can see the lack of play that was happening in this first half. Like, can he just roll this ball here? Maybe just give it down here to Gyökeres? I don't know. It was just a bit rushed. Everything was a bit lack of quality in the first half from both teams, really. I would actually say Arsenal probably edged it in the first half as the better side, because Liverpool really didn't do a whole lot of anything. Yeah, he kicks the ball long, goes to Raya, and possession changed hands. And we saw that a lot. It was a lot of long balls going astray in the first half. So, next one that we have then. So, this is McAllister here in the middle of the pitch with the ball. It's where we want McAllister, obviously. And we've actually made a bit of headway here. We've managed to beat the first line of press, which is the strikers here, and we're making our way into the midfield. McAllister has the ball, and if he's able to open up his body and bring this ball out here to Szoboszlai, or even bypass Szoboszlai and go right to Salah over here, you know, we've got lots of space to sort of drive at the defence. Give Calafiori a tough time, who actually had a great game, to be fair to him. But McAllister in the first half was not very good. He was quite poor, and Arsenal, again, to their credit, you can see the intensity of the press here. They've got three players converging on McAllister. And in the next photo, you see even more. Martinelli, Rice, Zubimendi, all completely surround him and harass him. And he wasn't able, he just didn't have the speed and the snap in his play to get it on his right foot and get it out wide. They managed to make the tackle. And Zubimendi comes away with the ball. And I put this clip in to highlight Gyökeres, another player who's come under a little bit of criticism earlier in the season. I think harshly, to be honest. Dealing with Madueke in this game. Now, Madueke is not Saka. We know that. Saka would have been a much tougher test. Saka is one of the best players in the league. Madueke, different type of player. I would say faster than Saka, and whilst maybe doesn't have the same quality, poses different issues. And we see that here. So you see Gyökeres has actually got the head start on Madueke, but Madueke is just faster. Gyökeres is quick, but not lightning. He's not lightning quick. So he gets done here for pace. You can see the ball goes over his head, and Madueke is going to beat him to this ball. You can see he's caught him right up. Gyökeres is legging back. But what I wanted to point out is Kirkes tracks him all the way to the byline here. Really dangerous area. Madueke, if he's free, he can maybe shoot near post, maybe gets one through Alisson's legs. Maybe you can square it here, and Gyökeres, you can see, could come in and maybe have a shot himself. But Kirkes tracks him all the way, makes the tackle, concedes the corner. And look, we don't want to give away corners against Arsenal, but what you'll notice in all these clips is there's no corner highlights at all for Arsenal because A, Liverpool defended them well, and B, most of them were outswingers, which if you watch the preview, you will know that was a point of emphasis that I made to not let Arsenal take in-swinging corners, because that's all they do, and that's where they score all the goals. But because they didn't have Saka to take those in-swinging corners from this right-hand side of the pitch for them, they weren't nearly as threatening, and we saw that in this game. Brilliant play from Kirkes, great determination, does really well. Okay, a little bit more tactical based now rather than individual. I don't know, I feel like this is an example of how Liverpool's pressing caused Arsenal issues, and this is actually our best chance of the first half that you're about to see. So what we see is Liverpool pressing on. We don't really go man-to-man like a lot of teams. We've been doing it a little bit more than we did last season so far, but we don't do it all the time. You can see we're pressing on here, but no one's really, like Gravenberch isn't right here. We've got no one on Calafiori here who's come away from his left-back role. We just sort of mark space. That's kind of what Liverpool do. So, McAllister, good press on Marino. He has no choice but to go back. He gives it to Rice. Rice again plays back. And this was a lot of the pattern of the first half. Arsenal and Liverpool both just playing back. More so Arsenal, I would say. Happy to play backwards. They're the away team. But this is a real thing in football now. Teams just love to pass the ball to their goalkeeper all the time. It's like their favourite thing to do. I didn't count how many times it happened, but in this game, it must have happened so many times. And you'll see the problems why in a second. Good press from Wirtz. He continues the press that McAllister made. And Rice has to go back to Timber. To Gabriel, which he does. And Gabriel gives it to Rice after Salah puts the pressure on. And Salah cleverly presses in a curved run, not allowing Gabriel to play this one out to Calafiori, which is where the space was and where they would have been able to get out. But I think this is where Arsenal are not brave enough, and where teams love to pass the ball back to the goalkeeper more than anything in the world at the minute. And it is a problem in football, in modern day football, to be honest. Gabriel gives Rice this ball, and we know Rice is right-footed, so he wants to kick the ball with his right foot. But for me, if he uses his left foot or even the outside of his right foot and plays this ball here to Calafiori, like, Arsenal are out the press. Calafiori is away. There's nobody here. Szoboszlai's back here, but there's nobody anywhere near Calafiori. Gravenberch can come across, but then that will allow Zubimendi to get in space. They'll be out of our press. But Rice doesn't even look. There's no concern whatsoever with playing a press beating pass. They aren't concerned. Let's just go back to the keeper, get him on the ball. Good press from Liverpool. Nice midfield line here. Gakpo sitting in. That's good. Wirtz pressing on. Salah pressing on. Ekitike is in the right spot. It's good from Liverpool, but from Arsenal's point of view, a little too safe. And it actually lands them in trouble in the end. So Raya gets the ball. Again, Salah's curving his run again. This is a thing that people do with pressing. We don't want Ekitike to run here because then it's easy for Raya to just play this ball out here. And then he can just run forward with the ball. Maybe even give it to Marino. It's easy to beat a straight line press, but because Salah curves his run, Raya cannot pass this ball out here to Gabriel. It's just not possible for him. Wirtz again stuck to Rice. Ekitike is ready to jump on Mosquera if it comes, but we're almost inviting that from Arsenal because we don't want to go too gung-ho. There's no need at 0-0. But this is the most favourite pass in football of any team who like to play out from the back, which most do now. This pass, a straight ball from the goalkeeper to the midfielder who's running towards the goal, is every team's favourite pass. And I don't really think it should be. The reason why they do this is, so then the idea is Raya or any goalkeeper gives the midfielder the ball, and this player is too late to the press, and this centre midfielder can move the ball wide, past the presser, or maybe even turn on the ball. A bit riskier, but maybe they can. In this situation, McAllister is actually late to Merino. Merino's dropped in. McAllister's on his way there, but Merino is able to receive the ball. But for me, why is Raya passing him this ball? This is what I can't understand. Because where is he? He's left-footed, so he could maybe kick this ball here, but it's such a risky pass. Raya, for me, has to either give the ball here or just kick the ball long. And I'm not saying I'm an advocate at all for just kicking the ball long, but you'll see what happens. Merino gets the ball, and he's actually ready to take a touch. He has that much time on the ball. Look at the situation that we're in. Here's one centre-back, okay? And another centre-back is now all the way off the screen down here. He's actually further down here than what you can even see, okay? The centre midfielder, okay, has dropped into his own box, right? Ready to receive the ball from his goalkeeper with his back to play, with 3 Liverpool players, in fact 4, including Wirtz, closer to him than any Arsenal players. And this is a common pass, okay? Liverpool should score from this situation. Merino still, I believe, should pass the ball to Gabriel, but Liverpool press well. Wirtz is in a great position. You can see Rice is trying to make this run down here, but Wirtz is in a great spot where this all happens very quick, you have to remember. And Wirtz is in a spot where Merino can see him, and he thinks, well, I can't pass it to Gabriel, and I can't pass it to Rice. So it's a good press from Liverpool. Ekitike is cutting off a lot of play down here. But unbelievably, what Merino does then is give it back to Raya. It's wild. They give the ball back to Raya. Look at Raya's position now. He can't play this pass. This is too risky of a ball. He can't play this one because Salah is blocking it. It's too risky. Merino is in no possible position to receive the ball. So surely you think kick the ball long. But still, they don't kick it long. Great press from Liverpool again. Really, really good. Want to point that out. Everybody's doing their job perfectly here. McAllister stayed brave to jump onto Merino and stay there in the box, not retreat back to his position. And so Raya, again, what we see is similar to the ball to Merino, plays a straight ball out like this. What he doesn't factor in, though, is that Liverpool have a Spinosaurus playing at centre-back called Virgil van Dijk, who just absolutely blitzes Zubimendi here, who ends up in the fetal position because this behemoth comes charging through like he's on a horse with a javelin of some sort, and he's just destroyed Martin Zubimendi. And look at Raya. Look, he's like asking, maybe he wants a foul, but he's saying to everybody, what are you doing? As though what he just did is not insane. It's really interesting. And I know that we're sort of focusing on Arsenal a little bit here. It's a great press from Liverpool. But I just wanted to point this out, as this is what teams do in football nowadays, and I think it's crazy. So Van Dijk comes onto the ball, gets to the edge of the box. Just look at the situation. When you really think about it, it's crazy. Liverpool now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, okay, versus Arsenal's 3, and then Rice desperately trying to get back. That's the situation. It's crazy. From Arsenal's own play on the ball. And Neville pointed this out in commentary as well, and I actually thought it was a good point. They'll play that pass from the goalkeeper into midfield, but the midfield will never pass it straight into the striker because they think they'll lose the ball. It's so crazy. It really is. What's maybe even more surprising from this situation is that Van Dijk decides not to shoot. Like, I know he's a centre-back, but for me, he should absolutely rip a snap this one at the goal. He doesn't. He decides to try and pass it to Salah. He gets intercepted. It is what it is. The ball comes out to McAllister. Now, I think he should actually pass, but he tries to shoot. I think he doesn't get his head up, and if he just gives this ball to Salah or even slides it to Wirtz, they can hit a shot at the goal. He's got 3 Arsenal players, maybe 4. Merino is sort of on the floor, in the way. He could even play this ball to Gakpo or Ekitike, and they're free too. Liverpool should score from this situation, is the point. It's a great press from Liverpool, and I wanted to point that out, but it's so poor from Arsenal. And it doesn't get talked about enough at the minute. No, teams, it's all well and good playing out from the back, but teams overplay and do stupid passes, and I think this is a prime example of it. Okay, moving on. Believe it or not, literally nothing happened that I thought was noteworthy in the game until the second half. I didn't think there was anything worth talking to you about in that first half since that moment until the second half. And this is when Liverpool started to get a foothold in the game. So, what we see here, and we'll look at this on the tactics board a little bit later on in the video, is Arsenal's shape. So we said in the preview they're going to go into a bit of a mid-block, which is exactly what this is. You can't quite see the defence, but they're not too deep. You can see the midfield isn't sat right on the edge of their own box. There's not a low block. They're pushed up the pitch, but they're not really putting pressure on our centre-backs. They're happy to just sit kind of in between, and that's called a mid-block. And a mid-block is especially common when teams play a 4-4-2 in their defensive shape. So you can't see the defence, but we know it's a back four. And then you can see clearly the 4-4-2. When they were in possession, they were a 4-3-3 with Mourinho in midfield, but they pushed him on to press because they like to keep this 4-4-2 mid-block. You can see they're not even man-to-man here. They're just in a 4-4-2. That's what they want to do. So Gravenberch has the ball, and Liverpool started to figure this out a little bit. The first half we couldn't get through, but in the second half, we made some adjustments, and it was all about Szoboszlai. And this is why him playing right back has really unlocked a whole new tactical element to the team. So Gravenberch has the ball. Rested possession, not much going on really. We can see Declan Rice has stepped right onto McAllister. No one is really in a position to receive the ball here, so Liverpool go back with the ball to Van Dijk. He gets it, and as soon as Van Dijk gets the ball, just look at Szoboszlai. Just look. So he is off this way, okay? Look at Martinelli. Martinelli is marking Szoboszlai because he's the left winger, and Szoboszlai is our right back. As the left winger in this 4-4-2, it's his job to deal with the left back. And Szoboszlai is about to completely vacate the right back position, and it just causes Arsenal so much confusion that it creates a chance for Liverpool. He's off. Van Dijk has the ball for a second longer, and now look, Szoboszlai is nowhere to be seen. And Martinelli realises this. He's stuck because he's supposed to be in this 4-4-2, which you see the centre mids have both pushed onto our centre mids, and Martinelli is left thinking, well, I'm playing left wing. I shouldn't need to go back in here. But Szoboszlai's movement has just opened up the whole game. It's an absolutely brilliant ball from Van Dijk. He plays the ball through the lines, and look who receives the ball. It's our number 9, except it isn't. It's our right back playing a position you would think a number 9 might receive the ball. And look now, Martinelli is back, running towards his own goal as the left winger, because Szoboszlai has the ball. Opens up the whole game. Beat the midfield press, and we're on the back four. He does a little bit with the ball, gets it out wide, and eventually it comes over to McAllister. And what we see now is a similar kind of thing to what we were seeing in pre-season. So Kirkers has gone on the overlap. Here's our other fullback, Szoboszlai, who we just saw, work with the ball. Then we've got our forwards making up the other 4 players. So we've got that 6 sort of forward line. McAllister is dictating the play. Crucially, what we can't see is Gravenberch, Van Dijk or Canate, because they are creating that back 3, or 3 players back at least, which stops the counter-attacks. That's much better from Liverpool. But we didn't have against Bournemouth. So McAllister is going to absolutely fire this ball into Wirtz. It's a really powerful pass, and it needed to be because he doesn't have that much space. But Wirtz is able to take a brilliant touch. This was almost his best moment in a Liverpool shirt so far. Takes a brilliant touch, completely wrong foots Gabriel, who's trying to get back to block a shot. Wirtz takes a great touch onto his left foot, and he connects well with the volley too, but he's just unfortunately unable to get it into this corner or into maybe this top corner here, and it ends up going straight at Raya. It is on his left foot, but it's just good play from Liverpool, and it's all about Szoboszlai unlocking this movement. Next one, what we see. Curtis Jones has now come onto the pitch, and he was really, really good in this game when he came on. He actually helped Liverpool get going quite a lot. You can see there's actually been a throw-in. Kirkers has thrown it to Gakpo, and Arsenal have pressed, and unfortunately for them, not come away with the ball, and it's fell to Jones. But what he does really well is he doesn't think, I'm just going to go back here like this and keep the ball. Immediately, he's thinking, okay, I want to go forward, and he injected that impetus and pace into our attack. So he gets on the ball, and immediately he's looking for Mo Salah, who didn't have the best game at all in this one, but as always, we know is a threat. So Jones plays a great ball. He's looking over the top like this for Salah. And the ball comes over. Salah gets it in this position. 1-on-1 with Calafiori. You can see Calafiori, he's actually looking around. He's thinking, right, where's my help? No one wants to be 1-on-1 with Salah. Especially Arsenal, they defend as such a team. You can see Raya as well. He's also looking, where is everybody? Okay. Nothing comes of this. Salah does run Calafiori into the box, and he almost plays a ball that goes like this over Raya into Wirtz, who would have had a tap in with the outside of his foot. It's almost perfect, but Raya just gets his hands on it. He's just tipped that up into the air there, ready for him to catch. But you can see Wirtz would have had a tap in. It was so close, and it was all because Curtis Jones was brave on the ball and went forward with it early on in the move, and that was really key for Liverpool. So next up now, this is actually the goal, and this is sort of the last passage of play that I'll show you today. So we've got Van Dijk on the ball at the back. Again, Liverpool in rested possession. Gomez is on now, and look at Szoboszlai's position again. It worked more and more to bring him away from right back and basically cause Arsenal this confusion in the middle due to them being 4-4-2. This is the 2 here, and they've got the 4 like this. They don't know where to pick up Szoboszlai because it should be the left winger's job, but you can see we've brought Gravenberch out, Wirtz is pushed on, Jones is pushed up, and we're using Szoboszlai as that deep player to get on the ball. They don't know how to mark it. But Van Dijk misses him out completely and is able to play this ball to Jones. And Van Dijk has been absolutely excellent start of the season. Not just his defending, but these passes he's playing into midfield are unbelievable, and they don't get talked about enough by him. Zubimendi, for just one moment, has become a little too obsessed with Wirtz, who was getting into a position maybe where he could receive the ball. And Rice, I don't know if it's fatigue or he switched off for a second. He's not close enough to Jones to stop that ball coming through. You can see the passing lane. He's not in the way. It enables Jones to get on the ball. It takes a lovely touch, a touch that enables him to face the defence straight away, and it causes Zubimendi to have to bring him down. And we all know what happened next. So, I wanted to look at this. This is really interesting. This angle is fantastic of the goal because you can see so clearly how much he had to aim at. So, interestingly enough, Szoboszlai said he knows Raya takes a step before he would shoot towards the wall. Now that's interesting when you consider the ball goes in on this side of the goal. If he's saying he knows Raya takes a step this way, which he does, I'll show you, it's interesting that he still shoots here. It shows maybe the confidence in his technique, the backing he has. I also thought it was interesting that Arsenal only went with a 3-man wall. Listen, it was a long way out. It was 32 yards out. But still, I think you'd have 4 players in this wall, but nonetheless, look where Raya is. Next frame, look where he is now. Szoboszlai still not taking the free kick. I'll switch between them so you can see. Look at him, he's taking a step towards his right. Szoboszlai's left. Next one, Szoboszlai's now about to make contact with the ball. Look where he is again. He's even further along in his goal. He's now basically in the middle of his goal, and if we compare that to where he started, look at the jump. It's really interesting. But, like we said, Szoboszlai knew this and still shoots here. It's very interesting. Still goes over the wall, even though he knows Raya will take that step this way. And, as we know, the ball goes in, and I just wanted to put this on. You see how close Raya is to it. He's not even that close, really. The ball goes in off the post. The strike is absolutely unbelievable from Szoboszlai. It really, really is. And this one especially, I mean, this photo is just mind-boggling when you see how far out he actually is. I mean, he's miles out, guys. It's insane. He's so far out. He's actually, like, about as far away from the centre circle as he is from the edge of the box. It's insane how good this strike was, and it's a goal fit to win any game. And I want to show you a clip now of a player you should know, if you don't know, get to know, of Juninho, who used to play for Lyon. Many consider, I actually also one of these people, consider him the best free kick taker of all time. Although I would put Rivellino in that bracket as well. Rivellino, if you haven't watched Rivellino's free kicks, go and watch those from the 70s. They are, and the 80s, they are unbelievable free kicks. But the technique Szoboszlai uses to sort of hit the ball, people were saying Ronaldo. I think it's like Juninho, and I'm going to show you a clip of his free kicks now. So let me show you that, and you can see the comparison to Szoboszlai. We'll just watch and marvel in Juninho's technique. Okay, so I've picked this one out from a video of Juninho's free kicks. We're only going to play a few seconds of it, so hopefully all is good. But yes, here he goes. Juninho about to take the free kick. See the keeper looking terrified. Look at the technique on that. I'm going to show it again. With his laces, sort of the instep with the laces. The ball goes high. Real dip on the ball. You can see again here. Look at the dip. Right in the top corner. Nothing the goalkeeper can do. It's just such a beautiful free kick. And it is just a bit like Szoboszlai's, in my opinion. Okay then, last thing we'll look at today in terms of tactics for this video is just going to the board. I just wanted to show how Liverpool beat this 4-4-2 of Arsenal in the second half, and how we were able to actually sort of move them around and get ourselves into this area of the pitch a bit more often. Not that we completely dominated, but we did dominate from around 65 minutes on until we scored. In the first half, when we'd have the ball here, we couldn't get the ball in. Every time we kick the ball here, the midfielder will be right on it. If it go into Ekitike, the centre-back will be right on it. We couldn't get the ball forward. But in the second half, we worked out that this was the key, as it has been this season, really. And the way that we enabled him to get into position is quite clever, really. What we did was, Kerkez stopped being so close to Van Dijk. Even though this pass was an easy pass, it wasn't getting us anywhere. So we just sent Kerkez a bit more up here. Okay, and then what we do is bring Gravenberch either really deep like this or even over here. Now, this was causing Arsenal a bit more problems because Mourinho was then coming over and Enquiries was coming over here like this. Now, they would allow us to play the ball between the centre-backs. They're not really concerned with that. They would just shuffle back across. But when Gravenberch was there, and let's say Van Dijk had the ball, what would happen is Mourinho would push on, Madueke would be on Kerkez still, and then basically Wirtz was dropping into midfield, and Neville on comms was going on about how Wirtz is too deep, Wirtz is too deep. And I agree, we want to see him here, but it was clever what we were doing. Wirtz was coming in, attracting Zubimendi. Everything was being attracted over to this side of the pitch, like this. McAllister's really close. And then Martinelli, who would be tucked in, nice, because Arsenal are tucking over towards this side of the pitch because the ball's over here. And Szoboszlai would ghost right round the back of him like this. And he would either come into this area where Van Dijk could find him with the ball, as we saw, or he would come deep like this into this area. Now, Martinelli doesn't know where to go because he is a left winger. He does not want to be back here defending. But in the shape, he is the left winger, so he has to deal with the right back. But if our right back is receiving the ball here, where is he supposed to go? And it caused Arsenal problems. And it's really clever that we managed to sort of manoeuvre Arsenal out the pitch, bringing Wirtz out of the number 10, attracting the centre mids on, enabled Szoboszlai to get the ball from Van Dijk and open up the play for us. We didn't score necessarily from that, but we scored similar when Van Dijk was able to play the ball through the lines, when Szoboszlai was actually deep here, and it was essentially Jones, if you imagine, was here with the ball. What we saw was Rice was a little slow. Again, we saw Wirtz was being marked by Zubimendi like this. And it looked like everybody, like the play was going on over on this left-hand side. Everyone was running. And Van Dijk was able to just find a ball. It was basically a straight ball with Gyökeres not quite over through the lines into Jones. And Zubimendi had to foul. And that was how Liverpool beat Arsenal 1-0 on Sunday. A moment of brilliance from Szoboszlai. Okay then everybody, that will do it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy Tactical Tuesday, even if the game itself wasn't the most action-packed and exciting. We've been treated to some really exciting ones to start the season. This one was a little bit more low-key, but a massive win nonetheless, and I hope we did enjoy what I thought of the game. Let me know if you agree or disagree and what you thought of the game as well in the comments below. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Let's see how many we can get, and also subscribe to the channel if you did watch to this point. Like I said, we're going to have videos like this out for every game of the season, I hope, unless they get too much going on later in the season, but we're going to try our best. And we're going to have more videos coming up in the international break, maybe looking at Isaac, looking at transfers amongst the league. Yeah, lots to come. And if you have any suggestions of anything you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments as well. Thank you very much for listening today or watching, whatever you did. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one, hopefully later this week. So until then, everyone, have a good rest of your week, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Goodbye.